Week 7, Video 3. Misinformation, media manipulation, and linguistic triggers. How false narratives spread and why they stick. So, we will discuss on this topic. Hello, friends, welcome back. Today, we step into a zone where language becomes a wildfire, that is, misinformation. A world where half-truths travel faster than the truth, where emotional triggers override logic, and where language is not just communication but manipulation. In this session, we decode how misinformation spreads, what linguistic tools fuel it, and how forensic linguistics help stop the spread. Misinformation is false or misleading information presented as the truth. It may not always be malicious. Sometimes it arises from misunderstanding, poor reporting, or emotional exaggeration. But regardless of intention, misinformation shapes perception and influences public opinion. Even in the journalism, there are three different types of information and related to false information, that is misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. In the crime reporting, misinformation can destroy reputations, escalate panic, and compromise investigations. That is why our reporting, our writing would be unbiased, without allegations. So that is taken care. Now we come to this point, misinformation. Misinformation survives because it appeals to emotion before logic. Fear travels fast, anger travels faster, outrage travels the fastest. If a sentence activates shock, fear, pride, or disgust, the brain is more likely to share without verification. This is why misinformation uses emotionally charged vocabulary like the word shocking, unbelievable, exposed, secret, dangerous, or breaking. These are linguistic hooks designed to bypass critical thinking. Headlines are the single greatest carriers of misinformations. Because most of the people share articles without reading them, the headline becomes the entire truth. We will take some example. The first headline would be witness claims police brutality, and the other headline would be police officer brutally beats civilian, says witness. The second headline adds more emotional weight, moral judgment, and linguistic exaggeration without additional facts. This subtle inflation is where misinformation begins. Media can create misinformation simply by choosing which parts of story to highlight, leaving out context, adding minor details as major turning points, framing an isolated event as a trend. All these are forms of misinformation that rely on language manipulation, not factual fabrication. In forensic linguistics, we can call this narrative distortion. The same event can be described with wildly different emotional weights. A small protest becomes a riot, a disagreement becomes an attack, a scuffle becomes a brutal assault. Semantic upgrading, intensifying words for dramatic effect, is one of the most common tools of misinformation. Semantic downgrading, minimizing violence, is equally dangerous. Sometimes misinformation spreads without a single false word. A picture from a different country, a video from 10 years ago, a screenshot cropped to hide contexts. When language and visual combine, misinformation becomes emotionally powerful and cognitively persuasive. This is why media forensic experts analyze not just words but images, sequencing, and pairing. As we discussed, first time in Asia, such course related to expose this biasness, misinformation, disinformation, and mass information, which was offered by the National Forensic Sciences University, and the course name is Forensic Journalism. Now we come to this point when we are discussing about misinformation, how this kind of pairing or sequencing becomes more, we have to spread more awareness to the public. We have to check grammatical ambiguity. Grammar can mislead without lying. Man attacks police officer with knife. This is just one example. The other one would be man attacked police officer with knife present. The first implies guilt. The second implies confusion. Ambiguity is a powerful misinformation tool because it hides responsibility while implying certainty. Phrases like sources say, reports indicate, or as per eyewitnesses often disguise speculation. Anonymous sources may not exist. Eyewitnesses may be neighbors repeating rumors. Repeated claims become truth through linguistic repetition, a psychological phenomenon known as the illusion of truth effect. A video clip of a man running with a bag went viral with the caption, "Thief arrested after snatching jewelry." Within hours, the clip gained thousands of shares. Later, it was revealed the man was carrying groceries after work. The misinformation came from a single verb, snatching. That one linguistic choice triggered public anger, hate comments, and calls for violence. This demonstrates the destructive power of a single misleading word. When we are discussing about social media platforms prioritize content that triggers reaction. So emotionally loaded, sensational, linguistically dramatic posts float to the top. Normally, algorithms do not promote accuracy. They promote engagement. This means misinformation with strong emotional vocabulary spreads far more quickly than neutral factual content. As forensic linguistics, understanding this dynamic is essential. When the work may involve analyzing viral posts for linguistic distortion, evaluating caption accuracy, detecting doctored quotes, which is very, very important, decoding emotional manipulation, supporting fact-check organizations, assisting police in cyber misinformation cases, providing expert evidence in high-impact trials influenced by viral content. When one becomes a guardian of linguistic truth. Thank you for diving deep into this essential part of media linguistics. Misinformation may spread through speed, but truth spreads through discipline, and that discipline begins with linguistic awareness. In the next session, we will explore hate speech and propaganda, where language doesn't just mislead, it incites, divides, and radicalizes. Thank you very much. We'll meet in video number 4.